All right, everybody, welcome into another very happy post-game show where Rutgers is basking in the warm glow of victory Saturdays, where Rutgers won this one after a bit of inclement weather, 45-17, defeating the Miami RedHawks, improving to 2-0 on the season. An outburst from the offense that continues, a defensive performance that leaves a lot to be desired. A lot of things we'll go over. We'll go over all the stat lines, things we saw. If you want to join in on the conversation, Richie is going to post links on his Twitter, and you can click the link to join the waiting room. And we're trying to take people live today. We'll see how that works. Be patient with us. This is the first time we're going to attempt that, and hopefully it works out because we really want to see if we can get people live on the show to be more interactive. Before we get into anything deeper, this podcast and live show is brought to you by FanDuel. So I should really start posting my picks, and maybe as I say this, all the luck will rub off. But I've been on a bit of a heater last week on my 5 picks that I gave out. I went 4 for 5 today. I'm so far 2-0. I had Troy plus 33.5. They were winning 16-3 at halftime. They lost 27-16 at Clemson. I also had Ohio money line, which I just felt so strongly that Ohio had a great game last week against us. I just thought they were a much better team than West Virginia. For those of you who want to maybe test some of the luck later on, I got Western Kentucky money line at Toledo, Memphis minus 13.5, North Carolina, Charlotte over 49.5. And I got San Diego State, Washington State over 45.5. For those of you who are listening on Sunday or later, I apologize for the late information, but that is what I got for the rest of the day. And I want to thank FanDuel for sponsoring us once again. But Rutgers dominates Miami of Ohio. It didn't always look like a dominant game, to be honest with you. This is a game where they kind of pulled away late, but even into the first drive of the second half, Rutgers is up by 14 points. They do the run, pass, first, second, third down cadence, and it looks like it's going to bite us. And then due to some fortuitous penalties, it ends up not. But on the day, Ethan Kaliak-Manis went 26 of 36 passing, 259 yards, 7.2 yards per completion per attempt, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Antoine Raymond on the ground, 13 carries, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. CJ Campbell, 10 carries, 45 yards, no touchdowns. Ethan Kaliak-Manis was leading the rushing for a lot of the day, actually. He ends up with 18 yards on 12 carries. That includes sacks. Deshaun Benjamin, Greg Schiano had mentioned wanting to get him more involved in the action. He ends up with 6 carries for 17 yards. Ian Strong, I'm going to say this now. It's been fun watching you, but it's going to be more fun watching you next year in the NFL. This guy is having a breakout season right in front of our eyes. He has his second 100-yard performance in as many games this season, 9 catches for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. His high school teammate KJ Duff looking all just as impressive as Ian Strong, if maybe almost as impressive. He's got 6 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown on the day. DT Sheffield, despite having a few untimely drops, he finished with 5 catches for 37 yards and a touchdown. Kenny Fletcher also had a drop on the day, but 2 catches for 14 yards. Antoine Raymond, 2 catches for 13 yards. Colin Weber, 2 catches for 8 yards. Gone through a lot there. I want to talk offense first. I thought this was, for most of the day, a pretty dominant performance from the offense. In the first half and in the fourth quarter, third quarter, they kind of seemed like they took the foot off the gas a bit, but were able to rev things back up and really put this game away. Rich, I've spoken now for a few minutes. High-level thoughts on this game before we get into any more finite detail.
I was going to let you go and see how long you just go for, but yeah. What do you call it? What was it? 9 possessions, and 8 of them resulted in points. I'm sorry, 7 of them resulted in points. 1 punt on the day. Like, the offense was just clicking on all cylinders, and it's continuing to click on all cylinders. It's just kind of repeating of what they did last week. I thought at halftime they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, as per usual with Greg Schiano, but then it started kicking up again, and it was like, okay, never mind, they're back. Ethan, again, continues to just be the quarterback that Greg Schiano's raved about him all offseason, even last season. Like, this is the quarterback that they wanted. This is the guy they trust. Does he do anything super fancy? No, but he's just very consistent. He was putting the ball in the right spots. He's accurate now. Mind the two drops or two massive drops, but he still had 72% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns on the year or on the game. His first ever 4 touchdown game. Absolutely phenomenal. I would like to see a little bit better from the run game because, like you said before, Ethan was leading the team in rushing for a good chunk of it. And it's not really it's kind of a little bit of a concern, I should say, when you have Antoine Raymond, Jayshon Benjamin, CJ Campbell, all guys who produced last week pretty significantly, not really produce as much. Towards the end, you saw a little bit more Raymond, especially on that big carry late in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, I just think the offense was great, and they rotated linemen like constantly, and it wasn't because of injury at first, but obviously the injury did happen. But even like before the injury, the first goal line touchdown from Antoine Raymond, they had Tyler Needham at left tackle, and I'm like, oh wait, he was out not playing left tackle the entire first, and then all of a sudden, that last play on goal line, they're like, okay, put him in at left tackle. So it is a true rotation, like Greg was saying before. They really don't know what they want or what they have yet. They're going to figure that out over the next couple of games and hopefully get that solidified before, obviously, Iowa.
Yeah, Rutgers on the day, 31 first downs, 7 of 10 on third down. Last week, that was something we harped on. They were 1 of 9 on third down, 5 of 5 on fourth, which is obviously awesome, but you want to see those third downs converted before you have to get to fourth down. Rutgers only attempted 1 fourth down on the day, and that was that delayed handoff that they reviewed for seemingly forever at the end of the third quarter. And they realized that they did snap the ball on time. 421 yards of offense on the day, no turnovers, only 2 penalties, almost 40 minutes in terms of time of possession. The offense was just really clicking, especially through the air. One of the things that's kind of unfortunate from this game, looks like Dante Chin has somewhat of a serious injury. He left the game at one point with an injury that was kind of, it seemed you couldn't tell exactly what it was, but he got up and was able to re-enter the game. And then later on, he took some friendly fire from Colin Weber, and it looked like it might be a pretty significant injury that he's going to be dealing with, and he was not able to return. It was carted off. Did you hear anything else about the Dante Chin injury before we get into any other specifics?
No, and I'm not expecting Greg to really announce anything either. This is more of, it's just logistics. He's going to wait. He's going to hear from what the medical team says, what they think happened. What he got rolled up on the first play. I forget who it was. I think it was actually Taj White coming, or the edge rusher coming around, and Taj White pushed a guy and he ended up falling into him. And then the second play, he just got rolled up again. But the second one obviously was a lot more significant. He's on the cart on the sideline and getting taken off, and it's like, okay, not a good sign. But I don't want to say the good news here is, because it's not good news, but you do have a serviceable tackle in Tyler Needham, who I just mentioned was pretty versatile today. Was playing right tackle, left tackle, and he was your starter. He was actually the favorite to take the job over before Dante Chin really stepped up in camp. So you do have a guy that's a pretty solid replacement, despite losing now what might be your second left tackle of the season.
Yeah, it does help to have that kind of depth, and that's what we talked about in the offseason. That's why Greg went out and landed guys like Rashid Giwa. That's why Greg went out and landed guys like Justin Cesare, because you need guys who have actually played. And when you can get a guy in a game when he's already made 20 starts in his career, it's not as big of a moment. It's not as likely he's just going to crap his pants like we've seen in the past.
Well, Cesare's from D2. He might crap his pants a little bit. But.
Yeah, but at least he's played left tackle in games that matter. Whereas some guys might have only played, in high school and in the practice, on the practice, not the practice squad, but in camp and things like that.
Yeah. More than serviceable. I mean, he's right tackle too right now. Like, he's pretty solid. So.
Yep. I want to get to some of these questions before we get into the defense, because I'm assuming that's where we're going to be spending the large majority of our time, kind of, thinking about things and figuring out how we can improve.
We do have a guest, but I know you're trying to join, Smoles. Just try to reconnect. It says you got to reconnect your mic if you want to join. But yeah, we do have the link out there for anyone that wants to join, talk some football, talk some Rutgers, talk some Greg Schiano game day questionable decisions.
Yeah, we invite anybody who wants to come on. Let's just not be too crazy. If you are coming on here to act a fool, I mean, you're not going to last long. But welcome anybody who would like to join. Yeah, Richie's all for the soundbite. He wants the WFAN type crowd. So whatever, come
Just
on.
Don't do it while you're driving. Jesus.
Yeah, don't do it while you're driving. Yeah, we can't be having another Nightline disaster like we had last week. Shout out to our friend in the chat. Isaac made a good point. We're trying to get Smalls on here. If you want to highlight that comment.
Where am I looking? I don't even know.
Yeah. So Isaac said, I think you guys said you'll see the biggest jump of improvement from week 1 to week 2, and I think the defense bounced back for the most part. Yeah, I think there was some definite signs of improvement. Not quite enough to actually feel good about the defense, I would say. The Bo Mascow interception jumped out to me because that was clearly a tape study interception, because Bo Mascow, he was supposed to, I don't know if it was zone or man, but he read that play perfectly, where it was clear that they were trying to do some kind of clear out to get the outbreaking route. And Bo Mascow was 2 steps ahead of the receiver running that route and picked it off. And if not for Daquan Finn being the athlete he is, he's taken that to the house and he gets tripped up after a 68-yard return. But in general, I would say the defense did look a little bit better. I do think a lot of the things that plagued us last week were still present. We still looked slow, which means that we're not reacting in time. We were still making like a ton of errors in the secondary. You don't allow that many big plays if you are clicking on all cylinders from that side of the ball. We still do not have a sack on the season. I doubt that any other Power 4 team after 2 games is sitting at 0 sacks. I don't think it was.
They got one.
Did they?
I think they got 2, didn't they?
Did I miss it?
Yeah, they got 2. They got Digibro Abdul-Rahman and then Jabome.
Okay, so full disclosure, I did not make it in the stadium due to the weather today, so I might have missed a few, like a series or 2. So apologies there. Sorry about that, guys. I did not see those sacks. So okay, one was okay. There was late in the game.
Yes,
just like
very late. Yeah.
Okay. I was setting up my computer after they got that last touchdown. So.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. There's a lot of still mistakes in specific positions again, same position groups all over again. But I think the one thing I really want to harp on more than anything is the lack of speed. Like, and you said it in the chat. I think you put it perfectly. Like, out of all these guys that are out there starting, like, how many of them are above average speed? We know Salam's a speedster, but he's small. So, like, you're going to have to trust him to tackle because you're going to do those 3 corners still. But the linebackers specifically, it was the one Daquan Finn, the touchdown run from Daquan Finn. The one linebacker, I think it was Jabome actually, just wasn't even able to get anywhere near.
He didn't have a touchdown run.
Or then it was right before.
I'm sorry, he did.
It was right. Yeah, it was like the one touchdown run that was like questionable. They reviewed it and it ended up being a touchdown. But yeah, it was very, very slow, like from Jabome to react, and not only just react, but on top of it, just to get there. Like, he's not quick enough to be a sideline backer. And I think that's a part of the problem with Moses Walker too. And then they threw Abram Wright out there for a couple snaps, and he looked better. He looks healthy, which is a good sign, but they're also just not fast. Like, even the DBs, like that, some of them that are fast, like say a Jet Elad or like Kosh Sanders, they're just taking bad angles, and then they're just missing in coverage. And then it's like, there's just a lot of issues with that safety room that have to be fixed and have to be cleaned up within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, especially at the safety position. We are just like, you might as well just not even have anybody out there with the way they're playing. And I'm saying that to be a bit facetious, but the amount of big plays that Jetty Ladd and Kosh Sanders have allowed the last 2 weeks is just stupefying. Like, Phil Simms at one point on the broadcast was like, yeah, I don't know what kind of coverage they're running there, but you bit on this. And it's just embarrassing. Like, and it's one thing if like you're facing a quarterback who just makes the perfect pass, where you had a guy in coverage and you just placed it in a place that only his receiver could get it. That's not what's happening. We're getting gashed by quarterbacks just throwing these lollipops up there, and there's nobody within 5 yards down the field. And this has happened against Ohio. It's happening against Miami of Ohio. There's there's just too many big plays that's currently being allowed by this defense. And it'd be one thing if it was only these deep shots for our safeties, but like you said, they're reading the RPOs poorly, and it's just
Mhm.
allowing these big lanes, especially to the outside. Our linebackers aren't able to close when a guy does bounce it to the outside. Like I don't and you gave me credit for the team speed thing. That was a David Anderson
Okay. Yeah.
note from the Scarlet Faithful. I just want to shout them out. But if you think about it, like there aren't many guys on our team who have above average speed for their position, like they pointed out. So when you see these miscues in the secondary, you want to say like, okay, why aren't we benching player X or player Y? But if there was a guy behind them that the staff trusted and had the physical traits to play the position, they probably already be out there.
Mhm.
So the way you got to weigh it is, do I put the guy like, let's just put Chris Joins into the conversation to play safety, either for Kaj Sanders or for Jet Elad? You can't teach him to be faster, but you could potentially teach Kaj Sanders how to read the play better, or how to
Mhm.
use his technique better, things like that. Those are teachable things. Whereas you can't teach Chris Joins, how to run a 4-5 if he's a 4-7 guy.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to deal with these lumps for right now until they figure it out. And there's going to become a breaking point. But right now, you just kind of got to deal with it, unfortunately. And it sucks just watching us just allow big play after big play. But
Mhm.
I don't think there's a good solution to resolve it at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if those guys were better, they would be playing. I'm not saying the coaches know like better than everyone in the entire world, because there's been errors in the past where a guy that comes up in as a backup and it's like, holy shit, who's this guy? Like he's playing lights out. But it is tough. Like I don't think Chris Joins is the answer necessarily yet, but we're approaching that category where you're going to have to eventually say, all right, I just can't keep giving up these 60-yard bombs that are just, and again, you said it before, there's no one near them at all. Like it'd be one thing if it's like, okay, he caught the 60-yard bomb, he played pretty good coverage on that, but and almost made a play, but didn't, and he caught it, whatever. But they're not, like they're nowhere near him. And
Yeah.
like for example, the big play was either Reynolds or the other guy, Perry, I think it was, for Miami, Ohio, the like big 60-yard gain. And I'm watching, and Jet Elad stood there when they called hike and didn't really know what he was doing. Then he ran up in the box. Then he's like, oh shit, that was my guy. And then ran all the way back. And well, obviously he didn't get him, but Cam Miller ended up getting him and saving a touchdown, but ended up being a touchdown anyway. And I think that was the Daquan Finn rushing touchdown. But it was just like, oh my God, like it's Jet Elad again. It's Kaj Sanders again. It's this safety unit just needs to play better overall. Like the corners, I thought were pretty solid today. I don't think they were really much of an issue. There were a couple mishaps here and there, but the safety play just needs to be a lot better. The linebacker play for a guy like Jabome, or we can go back to the Ian Strong thing too, because Ian Strong, we referenced all offseason long about how NFL scouts were drawing over him and Jabome. I haven't seen that all Big Ten Conference Jabome all season long so far.
No.
Obviously, it's 2 games, but he just doesn't look the same. So it makes me wonder if there's something wrong there too, or if he's just maybe we was just had a really good year last year. So there is a lot of issues, and a lot of it can be fixed too with a pass rush, which would be nice, but we haven't seen those guys step
Yeah,
up.
that's a big part of it too. They have not been able to generate, and it sucks when you're playing two extremely prolific rushing quarterbacks your first 2 weeks, regardless of what their conference they're playing in. These guys are very good on the ground. Navarro, I think, is a little bit better as a passer than Daquan, but Daquan showed today he can. If you give him wide open receivers, he's going to hit them more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny to think that of the FBS opponents we're going to play early on in the season, Iowa's quarterback might be the worst of all three, and that
Yeah,
might not
it's
even be
crazy.
close. He has been awful this season
Yeah.
so far. Mark Gronowski is a guy
Mm-hmm.
who I'm just going to take the L right now. I expected him to be very good, and I think a hole in my football understanding right now is if a guy's a run first quarterback at the FCS level, he's probably not a power 4 quarterback. I was really high on Matt Sluka. He can't even crack the starting role at JMU with his old head coach, Bob Chesney from
That
Holy
one's
Cross.
crazy. Yeah.
You got Mark Gronowski, who won 2 national titles at South Dakota State. Looks like a deer in headlights. And I do want to also throw the caveat that maybe Iowa just like breaks quarterbacks when they get there and doesn't really know how to handle them. I'm leaving that open as a possible outcome, but at the
That's
same
fair.
time, like he looks like absolute dog shit right now. I'm trying to scan for. Did somebody end up requesting to speak?
Yeah, and we'll put Kate in, and we'll put him in a minute. But I just want to say
Okay.
one more thing. Between Miami, Ohio, and Ohio, and I know this is kind of stupid to say because they were both just in the MAC championship, but they lost a lot. But I guarantee you, one of those two teams is in the MAC championship, if not both.
I think it's gonna be
Like,
Iowa or Ohio. Sorry.
yeah, I think Ohio's the better team, obviously, but I think they're both very talented teams, and you can't sleep on the MAC either because MAC has taken out a Big Ten team, 16 of the last 18 years. So it's not like they're
Something
the
like that.
worst football players in the world. Like these are good players. Like their best players are now transferring up, and they're just reloading. We see Toledo every year. This year specifically, just reeling in
Yeah.
Alabama recruits, and it's like, okay, maybe they do have an
Crazy.
eye for talent. So, yeah, that's all I got. But I could put Caden in here real quick.
Yeah, bring on Caden.
Am I in?
You're in here. What's going on, man?
All right. I think last week's close game looks a little better after they just beat up. They didn't really beat up West Virginia, but they did win. I think that looks a little better, but obviously the safety is just they need to get a lot better. It wasn't what I expected, but I really liked Ethan tonight. It showed that even if we can't just beat up people on the ground, we can do well in the air. I just really think this offense is going to be good. It's just when we get to Big Ten play, we'll see if this defense is just having some early season struggles or if it's just not legit.
Sadly, I think it's leaning towards it might just not be legit. There's, you always overreact after a first game, but if you see the same trends in game two as you do in game one, it might just be who you are. I don't think we're gonna. I think next week is going to be kind of a throwaway performance in the sense that you can't really judge too much if we come out and just kick the shit out of Norfolk State and we get 6 sacks and 2 interceptions and we allow 3 points. Like you're playing against kids who are going to be
Mike Vick coaching there.
He is, yeah. So we've tried a little behind the scenes. We've been trying to actually reach out to get him on the pod next week. I don't think that's going to happen, but if you guys follow along, we got the Wagner head coach a couple years ago to come on and talk about the game. But I think Mike Vick might be a little bit more busy than
yeah.
Wagner.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, obviously these teams aren't they're not pushovers. Weren't they both in the MAC championship last year?
They were, yeah. Miami of Ohio replaced all 11 starters from last year. Their quarterback, I think his name is Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert. That's it. He started every game since 2018 before he graduated. So this is like the first time they haven't had him in 6 years. So
but this quarterback is also 24 that we just played. He's got plenty
he's
of
also in his
experience.
7th year somehow. It's crazy.
I don't think that they should be playing with 18-year-olds, but that's just my opinion. There's a big difference in development and skill there. It's ridiculous.
It is kind of crazy. And just want to, you mentioned Ethan really impressed you today. He's got on the season, he's passing for almost 75% completion percentage, 511 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers. So we might hit some big time overs on his stat projections that we came out with earlier before the season started. Especially if he plays most of the game against Norfolk, because I don't know, we might be able to see a little AJ Sarace next week. Get a little
kind of excited.
Future.
Yeah, see what that's about. It'd be nice if he turned out to be good.
Yeah, I think the staff feels very comfortable with the progression of the program under AJ potentially. So excited to see a little bit of him.
Just the thing about the way we practice, it seems like we lose a lot of guys in preseason or like to season-ending injuries in practice. Didn't we lose that D tackle this year in training camp? We lost our linebacker. He went to Miami. He's gone. He had a season-ending injury in practice. I don't know it seemed, I know this is silly after this game to bring up, but I just find it strange that we have so many injuries like that.
Yeah, it's not just Rutgers though. Like if you look around the well, not the league, look around the nation. Like there's injuries everywhere. Like if you look at that Iowa State Kansas State game 2 weeks ago in Ireland, the injury reports had like 18 to 20 players each. So
Yeah.
it does happen everywhere. Is there going to be a couple season-ending injuries every year? Yeah, and I don't think a lot of them do happen in camp, but there's still some that like happen in the offseason that they kind of don't reveal until camp hits. You won't want to ever reveal your hand and reveal what happened. Like who was it a couple years ago? Noah Vedral. Like we knew he was out week 1 of camp, and it was just like, okay, don't say a word. All right, gotcha. Don't worry about it. Like, and then all
Jeff
of a sudden,
knew anyway.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Like these coaches all talk to each other, and I've said this time and time again. These coaches, like the lower level coaches, will talk to Hafley to try to get a better job with Hafley. Yeah. Or, for example, a Syracuse one or something like that. They'll talk to Syracuse and be like, hey, like I heard Rutgers is going to run this play. Like, any chance you get me a better like quality control job, a little bit more money? Like that's just how it works in these college days.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more to your point. I do think that Greg did take it a lot easier this spring or this summer than he did last year. I think last year he wanted to kind of battle harden his team in the summer, and that obviously resulted in a lot of guys entering the year either out for the season like Moture or significantly hampered like with some of the defensive linemen. So he did intentionally kind of lay off the gas a bit in the preseason. So maybe this is kind of, and I speak from an Eagles fan standpoint where like they got absolutely abused the other night. Listen, I'm gonna land this plane. Their defense looked like absolute shit the other night against the Cowboys, who couldn't run the ball outside of a Miles Sanders long run. But you can't expect the defense to really look with how practice is structured and how, you know, we've talked about this before, that how live tackling doesn't really happen, and you have we have 7 new players starting on the defense this year. You can't expect, when you don't play defense really in practice and you don't have an opportunity to play together, for them to just kind of look like they've been, you know, playing for 3 years together in games 1 and 2. I do think the defense will improve as time goes on. Will it be enough though to win us these big games we're hoping for? That's the ultimate question. So we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. A little bit on Greg, like his decision to not just take the points, make it 3 scores. I mean, they still had a little bit of momentum at the time. I just feel like Greg likes to make those kind of decisions a lot, and I'm sure it's aggressive, but I mean, when you're in that situation, just take the points. But we were already up 2 touchdowns, so.
Yeah, I am all about being aggressive on offense, especially 4th and short in the red zone or close to it. But when you're, like you said, when you can go up by 3 scores, I do think you have to take the points, especially in a game you're not trying to piss away.
Yeah. Well, Kaden, we got some others in the lobby, so I appreciate everything, man.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Want to just keep adding them, or?
Yeah, just keep piling them in.
All right. Rando, you're on. Oh, I'll unmute it for you. I got you. Nope, I can't do that. You have to do it on your own. Oop. I don't know if he hears this. I like the 4th down call. Like, I agree with you. Like, be ballsy, show off, show what you got.
If you're gonna do it, be consistent. They have been consistent. I don't think it's worth. I wouldn't kill him for it. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that maybe if you think about it again, maybe don't go for it there.
Yeah, you look back at it.
Yeah. Richie, do we have a promo code for home field also?
We do. Rutgers Rivals, all caps. What do you call it? I guess it didn't work. We'll see if we can get them back on here. But yeah, Rutgers Rivals on home field. Rutgers Rivals on what else? Night and Day Apparel. SeatGeek, as you can see over there. Working on some others right now. So if you're going to use that promo code. I think you got that hoodie from there, right?
Yeah, I sent the link in the chat. I don't know.
Oh, is that what it was? Someone was asking. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, Morosi asked for the link for the sweatshirt.
We got to give a shout out to our guy here that's consistent. And this is actually more towards you than anything, because you told him to play.
So P. Mata Poisset. Hopefully we're saying that right, because you've been consistently probably the top donor of the channel, so you deserve your own special moment here. But you said perhaps coach thought it was the play clock was not set properly. Quarter should have ended before the 4th down play. Thanks for all your efforts. Rather. Please take some of this money I made on Ohio money line against West Virginia. Let's fucking go.
There you
Attempted
go.
to 1766. We'll take the $20. It could have been. I don't really fully know. Like I said, I think I'm fine with the decision. In hindsight, do you take the field goal, go up 17?
Probably.
Maybe.
But
I don't know. I think I'm fine with either decision. I think I lean towards they should be consistently aggressive in situations like that. So I'm fine with the process of going for it. That's kind of where I landed on it.
That's fair. Any moment now, we'll also have Greg Schiano talking to the press conference. We have Alec standing by there. Still nothing, but I can only imagine what he's saying to the team. But yeah, I mean, can't be that good if he's still talking to him, right?
I guess not. I think it's crazy.
I know he does recruiting after too. Like he talks to a lot of
Yeah.
recruits, so there's that, of course. But
so Yankee, I don't know if it's Yankee Seg 94 or Yankees G 94.
Yankees,
So not sure if you talked about this, EG.
Yeah.
But Jabril Abdul Rahman got a sack today. Not sure why we don't see more of him. I mean, if this defensive line continues to produce or not produce the way it has, I think you're going to see more guys get mixed in. Same way I think you might see more guys in the secondary get mixed in if this kind of production is continue to be what we see. But
I want to piggyback off that real quick because, like, I had I shouldn't say an argument, a debate on the message boards about the depth chart the other day because I posted the printable depth chart and everyone's like, "Why is Bradley Weaver number 1?" And I'm like, "Well, technically Bradley Weaver's the starting defensive end. He's just not starting because he was a little banged up before, and he's back now." And he's still working his way back. And he still didn't start today. Jordan Walker's probably going to continue to get the start until Weaver's full ready to go. And I don't know how many snaps Weaver played today. He played more than last game, but he's still working back. And I think once he gets back into the flow of things, I think he'll be a pretty solid edge rusher. I think Eric O'Neill, and I got to give credit to Dave Anderson because he called this before the season even started. He's not, I don't want to call him one-dimensional, but like he doesn't have a ton of pass rush moves. He doesn't have a lot to work with. He's a lot of just speed and getting around the edge, and that's it. And if he gets there, great. But he's not converting those into sacks or even pressures at this point. Like he's getting probably the most pressures out of the team, but the whole defensive line's not really creating pressure either. So
yeah.
Dengoe looked pretty good today in limited snaps. I thought he was solid. I'm intrigued to see more of him. I actually thought he was almost going to be a starter before the season, and then I saw him in camp, and I'm like, okay, maybe not. But you got to remember, a lot of these guys throughout the defensive line, offensive line, even like the entire defense are working through some things. Like they're still working back. There was a sickness that went around camp, and they just weren't able to really practice that much. On top of it, like you mentioned before, they didn't really do a whole lot of tackling during camp because you don't want to get people hurt. You don't want to lose them for the season. So what they did is, like, realistically, you only have 2 sessions and 2 scrimmages of where you're actually doing full-blown tackling. And even then, like, you're not going to whack the shit out of your teammate. Yeah. Like coming over the middle, you're going to like be like, oh, I got you. Like, you're fine. But so it's tough. Like, how do you prep them to get from the thudding and the 2-hand touch shit to, hey, every time you see a guy, like, destroy him, basically. Like it's tough to like just adjust to it. And I think as the year gets on, I think the defense will continue to get better and better. And I think they'll work their way back to maybe not what Greg Schiano's used to, but they'll become serviceable. And that's really all you need with an offense that's this explosive, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and I do want to give the defense some credit. To start the game, outside of that one deep pass, I thought the defense played really well the first 4 drives. And I'll kind of walk everyone through the first few drives. The first drive of the game, Rutgers kicks off. They force Miami of Ohio to go 3 and out. The offense leads an 11-play, 75-yard drive, taking almost 7 minutes of game time to go up 7-0. On that second Miami drive, that's when they had that big broken play completion for 62 yards. 2nd and 13 from the Miami of Ohio 37. Daquan Finn completes a 62-yard pass to Cam Perry, where he's tackled at the 1. It was basically like a walk-in touchdown. Rutgers then has a 16-play, 54-yard field goal drive to go up 10-7. And on the following Miami of Ohio drive, that's when that interception happened by Bo Mascow, which led to an easy touchdown for Rutgers. Then Rutgers followed that up on defense with another 3-and-out by Miami of Ohio, which led to another Rutgers long touchdown drive to go up 24-7. And then the fourth offensive drive, I thought the defense didn't look as great when they allowed an 8-play, 53-yard field goal drive to close up the first half. And we do have a comment here that I want to highlight from Jersey Jones Sports. He said, "Hey boys, this is Will from Delmarva Fishing, who is a big time contributor to the channel. So I want to shout you out. Thanks again. This is my other channel where I do sports card shenanigans. Tell Mike Ditka to put down the Miller Lite."
That's on me. That's completely on me. I have half a beer. Number one. Number two, I've met Mike Ditka, and if you guys don't know, he's actually kind of a dick. Like,
Really?
I was a young kid, and my uncle was at a golf outing for Ron Jaworski. There you go, Philadelphia Eagles. And he was doing a pro-am, and he was golfing with who was it? Jim Kelly at the time.
Okay.
And Mike Ditka's locker was next to him. We got to go sit at the locker room, got to talk to him, and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Ditka, can you just sign my football?" Like, "No, I'm busy. I'm golfing." I'm like, "All right, fuck you."
Oh my god.
Like a 7-year-old kid, I'm just trying to get like an autograph. Jim Kelly gave me so much merch. That was awesome.
That's cool.
Got to meet the Goose, Siragusa. Like, that was a hell of a fucking event. Let me tell you, I got very lucky there. But I will put down the Miller Lite. I'm sorry.
Give him a break here. Been a long day.
Greg is live, so we can tune into that if you want.
Yes, let's tune into that, and we'll react afterwards. Everyone can watch along, because normally this takes actually, about a half hour to get us.
Okay.
Copy of.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Well, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, we're good. You can even turn it up a little bit.
Long day with the weather delay
Awesome.
and everything, so why don't we just get right to it? I'll try to help you whatever I can.
Your defensive play, they seemed to start to get it together there as the game went on.
Yeah, I've told you the defense is going to be a work in progress. If it wasn't, then everything I believe in is not real. Right? If practice is everything and cumulative repetitions are what make you an elite player, we just haven't had enough practices with these new guys yet. We have a lot of new guys on the defense. We're going to keep working. We got better. I was really proud of the way, it got to be tenuous there for a minute, and the way they locked in and got some stops. I thought we got some big time stops when we needed them. We still have eye violations. We still have some
sure do
things there. Right? You sit there and go, why would we do that? And then we made some mistakes as coaches. So we're going to have to just continue to chop away there with the defense. But I was proud of them. They fought, and it's good, really good.
Stood out to you the most through these first two games about how efficient and opportunistic the offense has been, especially with the way that Ethan is playing?
Well, I think, again, that's why I believe in what I believe in. Kirk's been here now. This is his third year, right? It's, what is Ethan doing? He's running, he's repeating. It's not like we reinvent our offense every day. So practice, I just believe so much in cumulative repetitions of doing things correctly. It becomes more and more second nature. And some of those throws and catches today, with Ethan and Ian had I thought a tremendous game. KJ, really, not only did they have a lot of catches, and I don't really get into the stats much, but they had a lot of DPIs caused, right? Like, they were getting tackled.
Yep.
So, they don't go on the stat board, but, those would have been big plays. The reason they got tackled is they had them beat. So I think we're coming around there. I think there's some young guys like Ben Black who we need to keep pushing into the game. DT is already established. He had a couple drops, but he going to be fine. I thought Kenny, he had a drop, but then he came back and made converted a first down. I thought Colin, same thing. He made some. That's a good defense. I mean, you saw what they did last week, essentially giving up 10 points to Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a pick six that went out of bounds it wasn't a pick six. They picked one and went out of bounds at the 2. So it's a really good defense over there. And I was proud of our offense. I think tremendous game plan by Coach Shiraka. Obviously we don't always come out throwing like that, but I think he did what needed to be done to a defense that basically dares you to do that. So I was really proud of our whole coaching staff. I mean, it's been hard, right? Defensively, there's a lot of great coaches on that staff, and it drives them crazy that we're not playing to the level. But again, it's what practice is about. So we just keep going, go back to work tomorrow, and we'll continue to get better and better. We just got to keep them healthy. And I'm worried about Dante Chin. That'll hurt if it's long term.
You're not sure about Dante, whether it'll be long-term or not at this point. It's too early.
I don't know. No.
Can you just explain what happened on the last play of the third quarter? Seemed some confusion, some frustration on your part as well. Just what exactly happened? What were your conversations with the officials?
Okay, so this is how we're going to handle this. I'm going to handle that with the league office, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Somebody's not happy.
Ian Strong, but
Sounds like a
what have
fine.
you seen from him both as a leader and a player in his development in year 3 now?
He's right in the process of developing. He's not there yet, and he'll be the first to tell you. But man alive, I mean, let's remember now, this guy was recruited as a safety, and I'm not really sure how many Division I offers he had, right? Like when we started recruiting him, Bucknell was his only offer. So you talk about a guy who's going to be an NFL football player and all that. I mean, he's a special guy and just works really hard. Again, Coach Brock, Coach McNulty, those guys do a tremendous job. And, we took one of the things when we came back, the room it may have been one of the weak spots on the team. And
Richie, can you pause this for a second?
Really get some good players.
Quick story time. Ian Strong has
go.
been that guy since he got on campus. When he enrolled early his freshman year, I think it was after the 22 season into the 23 season.
Yeah.
I remember texting Richie asking who number 29 was because I got to go to a spring practice. And he said, I think that's Ian Strong, because at the time he was listed as a safety, but they had moved him almost immediately, very similar to Mohamed Sanu, to receiver. And he was unguardable in practice. This guy was just like making highlight play after highlight play to the point where like he was the only guy who was making plays on in the receiver room as a like 17-year-old kid who should still be in high school. So this is I'm so excited for him because he's a super talented guy, but Ian Strong has been an underrated guy and he's just been killing it since he got on campus. So I just want to shout him out.
Yeah, the fact that he was a 2-star recruit at one point, and I think I told you this too, back when we were at Rivals, what's still Rivals, kind of whatever, you know what I mean. At the time, the analyst I was talking to was a national guy, and they always ask for our input on recruits, and I was like, dude, you got to bump this kid up to at least a 3-star. Like, watch the tape. Like, he just torched St. Joe's Regional in week 1 of their season. Now, I don't think they ended up beating St. Joe's. They might have, actually. I don't even know. But I just remember watching the tape and I'm like, dude, he's literally torching D1 athletes. Like he's torching 4-stars. Like bump him to at least a 3-star. And at the time, like I don't want to, I'm not going to throw the guy's name out there, but he refused to do it. He's like, I've watched him too, and I don't think he's got the speed for D1. And I'm like, okay, don't believe me, I guess. But
all right, loser.
It is crazy though. Like Sanu went from safety to wide receiver stud. Now it's Ian Strong going from maybe just recruit safeties for the wide receiver room and say fuck it.
Yeah, Stacy in the chat says we should move him back to safety at this point. And
he would probably be he'd
probably be the best safety on the team.
Safety. Yeah, honestly, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, it would be a big jump.
Oh, geez. All right, I'm going back to this.
In here, and it's going to continue. We have some good players committed at the position, so just got to keep doing it. Right, the receivers can change games when they're dominant. There's a lot of, I've told you guys before, I call it flyover yards. You fly over a whole bunch of stuff that you never have to see when you can complete those balls, holding penalties, fumble, all kinds of things that you don't want to think about. So yeah, we got to keep pressing the envelope. And again, Coach Shiraka is doing a tremendous job leading that staff. Just got to keep going.
Real quick. Next up in line, remember this, Elias Koch, And we'll go back to this video one day.
Oh my God.
Elias Koch is going to be so good. Like, I think people need to start talking about him more. And that's another guy I'm pushing for a rankings boost. So we'll see if it actually happens or not. But Elias Koch is next in line. That's one of the committed prospects he's probably talking about. Or Dysir Carter, who's also a top 200 recruit. Like, dog. Wide receivers, no longer a problem.
They got some guys in the hopper for sure.
So,
after struggling last week against Ohio, the offense went 7-10 on third down this week. Did you see from your vantage point any really marked improvement in those money downs?
Well, that was something we talked about, right? Like, we converted a lot of fourth downs last week, but it's not like we wanted to be in fourth downs. They happened because we weren't great in third down. So you're exactly right. You know, it was a little bit of a challenge thrown out, and I thought they stepped up. And, you know, when you're 70% on third down, it doesn't get a lot better than that. I guess it could get 30% better, but
our delay in the start. How did you handle it? Did you prepare for that? Because I know you follow the weather report rather closely.
Yeah, we always do. We have home plans, how you handle it at home and how you handle it on the road, because you certainly don't have the same facilities when you're on the road. But I thought our guys, we talked about it, you know, and they were prepared for it. And we had a plan, the strength staff, the nutrition staff, the training staff, the coaching staff, the doctors, everybody knew what we were going to do if we went. It was a little weird that it happened in the warm-up, right? I've had that, believe it or not, before. So I thought our kids did a great job of relaxing when it was time to relax, and then locking back in when it was time to lock back in.
You talked before about Bo being the son of a coach. What did you see on that play, that interception that he had in stepping up?
Well, I thought, first off, he did a really good job. I thought it was a great call by Coach Smith, right? They had worn us out a little bit on a couple routes to the flat, and Coach Smith changed the coverage and put Bo, but you got to make the play, right? And Bo did just that. And it was big. I thought, you know, a big play at the time.
Sure.
They had a couple long passing plays. Did you see anything particularly on those plays that went wrong?
Yeah, one of them is 100% on me, right? And I got to do a better job coaching that. And then some of them are eye discipline issues that we have to get to the bottom of. There's plenty of things to get fixed for everybody. So there's no like none of this. The one thing that I talk to our team, we got to have each other's back. Always have each other's back. It's tough out there, and I know our players do. They have each other's back, and they have our back, and vice versa. So that's what a family does.
Ethan got more involved in the run game, with whether it was scrambles or keepers. Was that something that was a focus going into the game, or was it just kind of how we handled the Miami front?
No, it was a little bit of a focus, and you worry about it, right? But they force, you know, they do it. They do something defensively, schematically that dares you to do it, and you know, and we felt like, you know what, risk reward, we needed to do it. And then like you said, the scrambles he created. So I thought that was big. The other guy that I need to mention that I didn't is Jack Scullion. I mean, that's a weapon, guys. 8 for 8 in touchbacks. You know, so what we did is we ran 8 sprints, and we never had to make a tackle, right? To me, you want to play football from the 25. I love it, and I was really proud of him, the way that he handled it, because 8 kickoffs, a lot of kickoffs, right? I want to make a shout out to Big E. Eric's walk, his 15th walk, hard to believe, right? And you know, I heard, I obviously couldn't see it, but I heard there was like literally over 1,000 people there following him, which just, it confirms to me what's special about Rutgers, right? The Rutgers community takes care of their own, and that to me was special. So I got to see him before we came down the Scarlet Walk, and that's always special. But I really want to thank everybody in the Rutgers community for stepping up, and they always do. So thanks, guys.
Well, shout out to Alec, who Shiano consistently gives him probably some of the most thought out answers, and you could tell that, like, I think he's taken a liking to him, which you love to see. I think so. But some interesting answers there for sure. What stood out to you? What was the thing that jumped out to you from what he said, if anything?
Well, I mean, he personally gave a shout out to Rob Smith for the probably best defensive play call of the game, which, I mean, obviously defensive coordinator, of course, like it's his responsibility to do that. But for him to personally thank him, I thought was interesting. The special teams thing was interesting too. I know it's obviously like very important to get to that, what do you call it? Kick it out of bounds and get the 25-yard line automatically. Like, But
Yeah,
for him
25, yeah.
for him to mention Jack Scullion was interesting. And then I guess that there's not really a whole lot of anything crazy he said, but he did mention basically Ian Strong's NFL wide receiver. Like I think he knows, just like you said, like you only got like what 10 more games with him, so
Yeah.
that's
You're lucky.
basically
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like he's going to be a high draft pick too, just because of his size. He's going to test really well. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
people give him enough credit for his speed. Like he's pretty speedy, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything really groundbreaking from what he said, but
No, I think the eye discipline thing just shows up on tape so glaringly too, where guys are just repeatedly biting on fakes. They're repeatedly watching the ball rather than playing it. And I just kind of want to like throw out like why this might be the case. So when you're playing in high school and you've been the best kid in Pop Warner, you go and you play in middle school, you've been the best and most talented, the fastest kid in middle school, you go to high school, you're the best player, you're the most talented, you're able to just use instincts, you're the fastest, you can develop bad habits, but it doesn't matter because you hit like a Mack truck, you're fast as fuck, and you don't necessarily need to have good discipline. But when you get to a level where everybody has good speed and everybody's strong and everybody has those physical attributes, that's when good habits and good football instincts actually matter, right? Because like guys like Ed Reed, who is known for consistently like making those really like genius level football plays, you could only make those plays because you understand so much about the defense you're running, so much about what the other opposing offense is trying to do, so much you've done so much film study, you know, when like these minute little motions the quarterback makes means he's trying to fake you that way, so I can instantly sprint the opposite direction. You need to have that kind of level of football understanding, tape study, in order to kind of fully use your physical gifts. So if you're just relying purely on like see ball get ball shit like we're currently doing with a lot of our linebackers and safeties, you're going to continue to see the big plays allowed that we're currently allowing. So until we start playing with some discipline on defense, we're going to continue to allow big plays. And I think all you can keep doing is telling them not to put their hand on the hot stove and hope that they finally stop burning their hands.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty spot on. I did actually take it back. There was one really interesting thing, and it was signaling out Ben Black and saying how they have to get him more involved in the offense. I think we all know like Ben Black's got a ton of potential. We saw it last year in a couple games actually. And I do think there's a chance like Ben Black is probably going to be a starting receiver next year on the opposite side of KJ Duff.
Yeah.
So he did have problems with his hands a couple times last year. We saw, I mean, it hit him in a helmet like twice. And the one really cost him big time. But I do think it's going to be really interesting to see how much more involved he gets in, because I think he only played like 4 or 5 snaps. And it was only because KJ Duff was tired. Like that was basically it.
Yep.
And you're not going to take out Ian Strong. Could he play the slot technically? Yeah, I guess he probably could. But it seems like they prefer him more on the outside. But you're also not going to take out DT Sheffield, who is probably maybe the best receiver of the bunch. It's like a hard argument now. Like it's weird because like DT does so many different things than Ian Strong does. And I also noticed like today the DBs for Miami, Ohio played so off because I think they're so afraid of the deep ball, because you have KJ Duff, who's a deep threat. You have Ian Strong, who's a deep threat. You have DT Sheffield, who could be a deep threat and is proven to be in the past, but this year he's a little bit different. But that's why they're wide open, basically, like 10 yards down the field on out routes, on slants. Like these guys are wide open because they're so off, because they're so afraid of the deep ball that they're just like, fuck it, take the 10 yards. Like, and it's like, maybe not 10 yards, but you know what I mean.
But we're just getting slants at will. Like anytime we want to go to Ian Strong or DT Sheffield or KJ Duff within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage, like we're getting it. And to their credit, like it is not easy to be a receiver who plays primarily across the middle of the field. Like you're going to take big hits. You have to just be ready to get your ass kicked. And these guys have shown that they're willing to do that. I do want to give some shout outs to some donors who have sent in a few donations. First to Jordan, who said Jabil Abdul Rahman is our best edge rusher with the shrug emoji. I don't know if he's the best, but he certainly has the most sacks at this point. So can't argue with numbers.
He's interesting though, because there was so much hype about him from even Greg himself this offseason that I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen him more. But Jordan Walker like was their leading edge rusher last year, leader in sacks last year. And he's starting like Bradley Weaver, Eric O'Neal, who I'm missing someone else. Jordan Thompson's playing a lot, but none of those guys are really converting. And Digibro Abdul-Rahman comes in for a couple snaps, and it's like, oh, shit. Now, mind you, is late game. Maybe their guys are tired at that point for Miami, and it's just like you just beat them. But they are getting close. Like Eric O'Neal was close on a couple. Like he's getting there.
Yep.
I just think these guys need to get back to 100% health, figure it out. And I know they're not listed on the injury report because they're not really banged up, but you could still play. Like there's multiple times last year where guys are out there starting even, and they're still banged up playing. Like they're just going to play through it. So unless it's serious, they're probably not going to be on that report. But yeah, I do think Abdul-Rahman has probably earned himself a couple more snaps next week. But next week's going to be weird too because they're probably going to be up by a lot.
Yeah, it's safe to say they'll probably be up by a lot. And do you want to hopefully round off some rough edges of the starters, or do you want to get some young guys some snaps? I don't know. I think I would lean towards keeping your team healthy, but we'll see. We have another donation that I wanted to shout out from Stacy Hagenbush. Thanks to everything you guys do on behalf of the Rutgers Club of Nashville. Shout out to the Rutgers Club of Nashville. You guys do a great job on social media. Fix the defense and let's keep it rolling. Totally agree. If the defense can get to an average level, this team could be very dangerous this year. I think the offense, Rich, you could tell me if I'm wrong, it's even kind of surpassed our lofty expectations so far. So what's your stance? Do you agree?
Yeah, and I don't think they're done yet either because I feel like that run game can really take off. And once that gets things going, I don't know if it's a matter of just staying with one back or if it's one guy has to just step up and emerge from the group. And maybe Raymond's starting to become that guy. But I do think once that run game really starts taking off, it's going to be a whole different level of offense too. And I think you'll see a lot more explosive plays when they're not playing Ohio, when they're not playing Miami, Ohio, when they're not playing Norfolk State. I think Iowa is going to be really, really interesting because they have a really good defense, but for the first time in a long time, Rutgers has a really good offense.
Yeah. Thomas K asked a question that I'm not going to answer directly, but I do have an answer for you. Any other young rushers catch your eye in camp, or are you sworn to secrecy? So I think it was telling when the Big Ten crew who came through this summer pretty much resoundingly said the offense outplayed the defense, and that if they're going to get pressure this year, they're probably going to have to blitz. That has not changed for the entire time through camp. The offense outplayed the defense, and they weren't really able to get much in terms of wins against the offensive line. So if they had a secret weapon, they probably deploy it. Just being honest with you.
Yeah. That being said, like YD Collier is going to be really good. It's just a matter of time. He just needs to pack on significant amounts of weight. He's like basically built like Ace Bailey at the moment. And imagine putting Ace Bailey against the Big Ten offensive line. Like it just doesn't make sense because he is 6'7". He is like 205. I think he already added 10 to 15 pounds, I was told the other day. So he's getting there. It's going to take time, but I think he has the potential and the build that like you don't really see in the edge rushers at Rutgers. Like that's like a legitimate edge rusher build with between the length, the wingspan, everything else, the bend. He's freaky good, and the fact that they were pushing to get him on campus as soon as possible. Hey man, I would love for you to spend your senior year at Newman Goretti, but hey, we kind of need you in the program. Like, come on, got to get you going.
Come on down. Absolutely.
So we'll see. I do think that also. Who the hell was it? Who's the edge rusher they brought in from Georgia? Or is he no defensive tackle? I lied. Braxton Kyle's going to be pretty good. Yeah. He's going to need to take some time. But again, he broke his foot, ankle, something like that. I forget what it was.
He's got some kind of injury. He got a surgery on. He's out. He's already been announced out for the year, so we're not breaking any rules there.
Yeah. So, but he'll be pretty good too as soon as he gets back. And Jion Simon, big cat, like I think he'll be good. They got some talent there. It's just a matter of got to develop those guys. They can't keep hitting the portal every single year for edge rushers, which is one of the most expensive positions in the portal. So, yeah.
If you don't mind, can you also highlight USF General's quote here? He said, "What does Athan need to do to get the attention of the national media? It seems so many media outlets are signaling out Athan as a bottom 5 quarterback in the conference as he continues to shine. I think this is going to be something that changes after this week. I think this is a performance that they can't ignore, where he completed, for back-to-back weeks, 70+% of his passes, over 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. If you listen to any Big Ten podcasts, like shout out to JR on the Big Ten Huddle, they do a great job there. If you listen to the Solid Verbal, if you listen to like anybody, the Eyes on Big Ten podcast, they're going to mention Ethan Kaliakmanis after this week, especially if they don't mention him this week, they're definitely going to mention him in the lead up to the Iowa game, because it's crazy to think of how much of an advantage Rutgers has at quarterback going into that game.
I'm going to reverse course a little bit. I'm not going to say this week, because I just think that they're just going to look at it as a Miami, Ohio team that's replacing a bunch of people. They didn't say it last week because Ohio's replacing a bunch of people. I don't think they're going to say it after Norfolk State, because they're just going to be like, hey, it's Norfolk State. This is a team that I'm looking right now can't even beat Virginia State. Like they're going to probably lose that game. So I think what it's going to take for them to talk more about him. Now, I think you'll hear a lot to the buildup of Iowa, just because it's Iowa Rutgers. It's going to be an interesting matchup. But I think if he beats Iowa and puts on a good performance, that's when people are going to be like, oh shit, like he's like actually the quarterback that we all had him ranked as out of high school, and that PJ Fleck almost ruined and Greg Schiano revived somehow. Or I shouldn't say Greg Schiano, Kirk Shiraka revived somehow. So
yep.
I do think if he beats Iowa, I think that's when you'll really see the lid come off, and everyone's going to be like, holy shit, this kid threw for 70% against Iowa. And then they look back and they're like, holy shit, he threw for 70% in all 4 games. Like, so I think that's probably what it's going to take.
I 100% agree. I think it's coming. It's coming soon, and just stay patient. We'll be able to gloat when it does happen, but it's going to come. William Donahue asked, hey Mike, were you all over the Ohio money line?
Missed the beginning of the show.
You know I was. For those of you who are listening, I was touting Ohio. I thought they were going to beat West Virginia outright, and they sure as hell did. I even had them as bet on an alt spread too. I had them -5.5, which was like +2 something. But yeah, I was all over them. So
I know he's got a kind of like a new team, and he's his first year there. Is Rich Rod 2.0 struggling already?
I mean, they had 4 first half turnovers last week. They didn't look at any point like they were going to win this week. I think you're going to need some time. I think he can get it done the same way that I think a lot of these coaches who are coming back for their swan song, or their, if it's Scott Frost at UCF, if it's, Rich Rod, I don't know who else was
Greg
brought
Schiano.
back recently, or Greg Schiano, but that was, 5 years ago now.
5 years ago now. Yeah. It's crazy. Almost
I
wasn't.
think you can get it done. It almost wasn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. We do have a guest in the studio. Rob, we're going to add you in right now.
Rob,
hey, Rob, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey,
good. How you
going?
Good. Just pulling into my driveway. I was the guy who got into the car accident last week.
Hang up.
Swear to God. Not driving. I'm not driving right now. I just pulled into the driveway.
Not anymore. You're
not anymore.
Yeah, you're a bit of an urban legend. If you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to. The line is yours.
I'm drinking.
Yeah. One thing that I don't think anybody talked about was the end of the first half. The sequence there when we were driving in the red zone, we could have bled a lot more clock off as we were about to score, and we allowed them time to go down the field to get that field goal. That was just not necessary at all. Like they had the clock was running. They could have bled another 30, 40 seconds off before even running that play. That ultimately was the touchdown. I wouldn't say it was quite a coaching error, but I don't know. I thought it was something interesting that, that I don't know why they felt the need to rush there to score.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm looking back at it now, and there was a penalty that pushed it back to a first and goal from the 11.
That was a Dante Chin holding, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the clock keep running in those instances?
A penalty does stop the clock in that scenario.
Yeah.
Does it? Okay. Well, maybe they. I don't know. I feel like maybe you run something there that just try to keep the clock running, because it's not like they were rushing through that sequence. I mean, they ultimately scored, but
Yeah, it's tough to turn down points if it's just going to be there for the taking on that KJ Duff touchdown pass. But maybe you run the ball on first down to get the clock moving. And then, if you score on second down, great. But at least the clock is continuing to tick, tick, tick. Because like you said, like you're kind of alluding to in, 2-minute drills this season, we've been awful on defense. So you don't want to present offenses with the opportunity to take advantage of an area that we struggle in. So.
Yeah. Then I had one question for you guys. You kind of were talking about it. Ethan looks phenomenal. I think over the last 2 games, he was above 70% completion in both games.
Yeah.
Just really efficient play, not really making any bad throws, very few, if any. Even like outside of the ones that are not completed, they're just not really catchable balls by the defenders. Is there a world where you think he's starting to play into potentially getting a cup of coffee in the NFL? A 7th round or undrafted free agent type player.
Absolutely. What they're looking for. What you've seen out of successful quarterbacks in the last, let's say, 5 years. Like, it's so hard to learn a new offense going from college to the NFL when you have guys who have already gone through that. When they've gone through look at what a guy like Cam Ward has done since he started college. He starts at Incarnate Word. He plays at an All-American level. He goes to Washington State, plays a radically different offense there, goes to Miami, plays a radically different offense there, excels at all of them. And if he stayed at our Incarnate Word, there's no chance he gets drafted in the first round. Maybe no chance he even gets drafted, period. But I think Ethan's shown a lot of grit. He's gone from a situation where he had a coach that he trusted to Greg Harbaugh, who wasn't really a great fit, but he still showed something in that offense. I do think that if he continues on this trajectory where he's really kind of, nose up, I absolutely think he's playing himself into it. Not only, a cup of coffee, I think he's going to get drafted if this keeps up.
Yeah, if you listen to it on Peacock, I was listening on my phone, laptop, whatever, and they were raving about like the way he's just putting the spiral on the ball, like the placement of the ball and everything. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, who's that guy talking? Oh, that's Phil Simms. Like that's Giants legend Phil Simms raving about Ethan Kaliakmanis. Like he is just very consistent, and I think if the accuracy that was one of his biggest knocks, if that keeps up, I really think that he has a chance of getting a late round draft pick. Now, obviously, we have to wait till they play like a legitimate team to like really say that this is going to happen. But the only knock I really have on Ethan at all this season is the man needs to learn how to fucking slide. Like, stop with the diving. Like the one where he got hit pretty hard, he like sat there for a moment. I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. But like, just slide.
He ran on the next play too and took another big shot.
Yeah, he's crazy. I respect it, but at the same time, like, just learn how to slide. But other than that, I do think he has a shot at the league.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing that's going to be helpful is he's going to be going up against legitimate NFL draft prospect quarterbacks throughout the season. So you're going to, for these scouts who are going to be at these games, they're going to be able to, compare notes, back and forth about what this guy looks like. Like, I think like a guy like Altmaier is a good kind of comparison because Altmaier is probably going to get drafted this year. If Ethan can play at the same level of him or Julian Sayin, or, he gets the ultimate test with Drew Aller at the end of the season. So I think it's a good thing for him to be on the same field as these quarterbacks who are likely to be mid to high picks.
Yeah, I for sure. I think he really does need to learn to slide a little bit earlier because he's taken a lot of unnecessary hits. It's rough sometimes. I keep going, oh, he's going to get up and like be grabbing his ribs because that looked like it hurt. But no, I actually disagree with you guys on one thing there you just said, is that I think these are legitimate defenses. Miami of Ohio just, they beat West Virginia. I don't think West Virginia put many points up against that defense. And it was only like 10 points. Yeah, it was. And we were just dumping points on them. And same with Miami of Ohio. Wisconsin only put 17 up, and our offense looked unstoppable. I don't know. It was some point in the fourth quarter they had this. I saw something like we had 30 first downs. It seemed unbelievable, like an unbelievable amount of first downs. Like we were just unstoppable. We weren't picking up huge plays, but we were getting those 10-yard when we needed them and when we wanted them. Really, they just couldn't really stop us. And I don't think that these defenses were. Yeah, I know people say they're MAC, they're they're not Power 5 defenses, but both of these teams have gone up against other Power 5 teams, and they weren't able to put up points against those defenses. And so I do think that these are legitimate defenses. I think that when we look back at this season, I think that there's going to be very few teams that are going to be able to stop our offense. I think that that's how potent they look. I really do believe that it's all going to come down. I think the season's going to come down to what the defense can be. Greg can say it's a work in progress. I think it's a little bit more than that. I do think it's a lot of fixable stuff, a lot of safeties out of positions. That there's lack of pressure is hurting us, but ultimately the big plays are the safety. The safety play is just atrocious out there. It was rough watching the Eagles play on Thursday and seeing that secondary. And I thought that was bad, but it's nothing compared to this Rutgers secondary. Well, I shouldn't even really criticize the cornerbacks. It's the safety play. This is some of the worst safety play I've ever seen at Rutgers. And that goes probably back to even the Chris Ash era. Like, I don't know. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one thing if it was like, oh, we made these mistakes last week. This is the mistake we're making this week. No, it's the same exact mistakes, copy pasted from last week. So you hope to see it slowly improve. And I do agree with you that I hope we didn't make it sound like these weren't real defenses. And if so, that's not my intent. Like Bill Breckton, we gave a ton of credit, who's the Miami defensive coordinator, who's led Miami to this is his 4th year as the defensive coordinator there. Last 3 years, he's led them to top 15 in stop rate and EPA per play, in points allowed. Like, this is a legit defense. And the Alex Shear, the guy who runs the Mac Sports Connection podcast, has basically said like every Mac school is hoping that Bill Breckton eventually gets his own job or gets poached by a Power 4 team, because he's consistently putting out the best defenses in the MAC. So this was a defense that I think was better than a lot of people expected, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what both of these teams can do in the MAC. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them make a run for that MAC championship. If we're looking back again, these are two of the best teams in the MAC.
Yeah, I totally
That's
agree.
everything from me, guys.
All right, well, appreciate you
Rob.
hopping on. I'm glad you made it home safe today, bumper free. So stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Yep, you too, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do. This is a great show. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks.
Let me add this bozo.
I'm back.
What is it?
Still here in the friendly confines of SHI Stadium.
You're the only one there?
All right.
No, there's still a few people here.
All right, cool.
So Alec, what was the presser like? We got to see the live stream, but what was the general vibes like from Greg after the game?
It's pretty good. Did you guys watch it?
We did watch it.
Listen?
Yeah.
But there's always some stuff you don't necessarily see on the stream that you can see in person. So
I thought it was interesting. His voice was definitely much more hoarse than it was last week. So I don't know what that was about. But I thought it was interesting. He was asked about the end of third quarter sequence, where honestly I'm still not entirely sure what happened. He said he was going to take it to the league office and leave it at that. So I don't know. That must have been an issue that he had with the officials instead of his own offense.
Yeah, I don't know if this might be like they didn't start the clock when they should have kind of situation, where he knew that like it should have been like he looked up and there was 30 seconds left, but they're claiming that the play clock started. Like, I think this is my read on it. He probably thought he could run out the end of the quarter, and then he realized that it was too close to call, so he ended up having to call a play.
I did see a video from someone. I gotta find who it was so I can properly credit them, but I forget which one it was. But someone posted a video. It took a video of the Peacock broadcast and the score bug, where after that last play, after the third down play, at least the Peacock game clock. Well, that's a mouthful. It didn't keep rolling. It stopped. So maybe they thought it was a first down or something like that. So maybe that's where the frustration came from. But yeah, that was not really sure what happened there. But other than that, it was pretty. I mean, obviously, you're gonna feel better after a win. It was fairly fairly positive. Yeah, I thought he talked a lot about the defense is just he mentioned it was some eye stuff, eye discipline stuff, and he mentioned he said it was a work in progress, and I thought it was interesting. He said like for everything I believe in, it's still a work in progress with practice and all that stuff. So that means it's still a work in progress in his eyes as well. So yeah, not too much interesting stuff. I thought he was asked about Dante Chin, and I thought it was interesting. He said he literally clarified that he didn't know much about it for sure, but he said he was worried for him. And if it's serious, that would be a big loss. I thought he was playing pretty well at left tackle as well. So obviously I hope it's not serious for his sake and for the offensive line's sake.
Before we get into anything else Greg said, I do want to shout out a donation comment that was made. Yep. Perfect. Alex Fox said, thanks for the great coverage. We appreciate your hard work. Let's get some deeper Rutgers wrestling coverage this year. We will definitely be able to help you out there.
Oh, we could easily help them out there with, we have Nick Costco part of the team now.
Let's go. Yep. Since we're on the On3 network, Nick is obviously super connected with Rutgers, so we are hoping to have him on for a pod and, writing occasionally maybe for the site. So we will see how things go there, but we expect the coverage to be even better than in the past moving forward. Also, Alex has a beer recommendation for the group. Wiseacre Skydog. Never heard of it, but if I find it in the store, I would definitely pick that up. Appreciate the recommendation. I'm always looking for some new delicious beer.
Yeah, see, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that goes to the bar. Hey, what can I see your beer menu? I look at it, 120 beers. I'll take a Miller Lite.
I can attest to that as I watched that happen and then also proceeded to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, Alec, that seems to be your MO, is just copying exactly what Richie does. So
not a bad guy to copy. Not a bad guy to copy.
Used 2 times. One of them happened to be the exact Rutgers schedule, of course.
Just bust your balls.
Everyone wants to be me.
Got a lot of comments in here, Rich. I'll let you just throw up whatever one you would
I'm actually going to delay that, and I'm going to add a new guest to the stage.
Ooh.
We got Kevin Fine in here. Okay, fine. I don't know if I just doxed you a little bit, but.
Wow, I'm here. All right. Whoa, holy mackerel. I didn't know I was getting called on.
Well, yeah, you joined. Yeah.
Is that
All
the
right.
MAC championship logo?
That's our, yeah, I mean, let's raise the shield. We've taken over the MAC. We're ready to move on to the Big Ten schedule, but we when you get the hardware, you got to claim it.
Yeah, we're on to the University of Cincinnati. But what do you got for us?
The only thing, you know what, I think everything's kind of evident. We want to see more pass rush coverage in the secondaries. I just want to talk about. I love all of our running backs. I really got a better appreciation for Campbell running today. I mean, some of those runs that he had in I think it was with third quarter, I mean, was just nasty. He did not look fun to take down. So I'm just looking forward to seeing number 5 get the ball a few more times. But that was kind of my little insight for the day. But other than that, I'm just, survive and advance. Let's keep moving on.
They also got the running backs a little bit more involved in the passing game. No receptions yet for Campbell. I think that maybe there's still some layers of the offensive onion that they haven't gotten into yet, which will be fun to see as the season goes on, how they employ or deploy those guys.
I would love the show, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for joining. That's Kevin Fine. Rutgers
now you
Hall of Famer. Rutgers Hall of Famer. Yeah,
I was going to say, fan Hall of Famer Kevin Fine.
Shout out to the most recent, I think, Hall of Famer inducted.
I believe so, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I actually thought like Benjamin, I have a kind of a new respect for. Like, I thought even though he didn't do a whole lot in terms of numbers wise, I thought he was solid in limited gameplay. He was good in blocking. Like, I thought like he actually proved why there is a 3-man race for this and not just a 2-man race. And Greg said it before, he's really impressed him throughout the camp. Like, he's mentioned every time it's a 3-man race, and I just never really saw it that way. And then I thought today he actually showed some flashes here and there.
And speaking of Raymond, I thought it was interesting. One thing that it seemed like those 2 carries when he scored on the touchdown. The first run of those 2 carries he had was a very Manungai-like run. It was in the red zone, and he carried it, and he got hit I think it was like 5 yards back, but then just kept the legs churning, and that was something that we had seen a lot over the years. And I think Benjamin's really grown as a blocker, picking up blitzes, things like that as well. I thought he showed that today. And then one thing that I asked Greg Schiano about was the run game with Ethan, because he had, I mean, granted, I think sacks kind of came into play there as well, but he did have 12 recorded carries. I don't remember how many sacks it was, but it wasn't a lot. But either way, he had a lot more carries today than he has consistently in the past. And I thought it was interesting. Schiano mentioned that was something that they kind of tried to focus on a little bit in the game plan, because what Miami's defensive line does, they kind of give that to you. They add it as an option, and a lot of his scrambles were in key situations where the defensive backfield was playing some good coverage. There wasn't really much going on, so he just kind of had to find his own yards.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of encouraging things. What did you say?
Bless you. He had quite the awkward face when he was about to sneeze.
They say that your sneeze face is also your other face.
Yeah, that's just.
So
which one, Mike? Tell the viewers which one.
There's kids that listen to this,
and I'll let you go from there.
Jeez.
Lenny Parisi is in the chat.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Frat Bros was a Rutgers Hall of Famer. So shout out Lenny.
Wow.
Who else we got in the chat here? If you want to highlight any comments.
Joe Harris-Semiak is 0-2 in his head coaching career.
Brutal. Lost
not
Bryant
too
today.
hot.
That sucks.
That's a rough one. I don't know if you can really defend that one. That's a I don't know. I don't know what to say. I didn't even know Brian had football. I did know, but still.
There's one comment in here I'm not going to tell you to highlight. But
I saw it already. You're a bad influence.
Jesus.
It's tempting. Like you ever have that button and it's like don't push, and it's like push the button, push the button.
I'm trying to think of any other big
yes.
Any other big game takeaways? I mean, Ethan looked very good. I thought outside of obviously the big plays have to get addressed because those are the plays that can make or break a game. I thought outside of the big plays, I felt like they did a pretty solid job defensively. They finally got on the board with the sacks. I mean, a month ago, how much money would you have put on Rutgers' first sack of the season being from Jibril Abdul-Rahman?
In the fourth quarter of game 2 as well.
The odds would have been insane.
Yeah, you probably could have gotten plus 3,000-ish odds on that one.
And then 2 plays later, Jabome got in the backfield too and took down Finn as well.
I was just gonna say I would have bet on linebackers over Jibril. Like, I'm sorry, but like I just did not see that coming.
Yeah, he didn't play last week either, which I thought was interesting because it felt like the staff has always kind of been pretty high on him.
I could tell you didn't listen to the show.
Well, okay, I was a little preoccupied.
Just messing with you, but I did say that earlier. It's shocked because there was so much hype about him and then nothing.
I was a bit preoccupied while you left me to go back to your cushy post-game show.
Hey, I wouldn't call it cushy, but this is a nice chair.
Your ivory tower.
Yeah, I mean, we all don't have significant amounts of winnings because of Ohio. We all didn't bet it, like Mike said too. We didn't listen. One guy in the chat did. Actually, I take it back. One guy in the chat did listen. So shout out to him.
Well, of course, as soon as I start talking about my other picks, they don't look so hot. Toledo is beating the absolute brakes off of Western Kentucky, 45-7.
The MAC.
The MACtion.
Bring back the Power 5. Is that what I'm hearing?
Stop.
I'm here for it. North Carolina also is not able to score against a pretty awful Charlotte team. That game was 49.5 over under. It's currently 17-3, 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah,
Charlotte's winning 17-3.
No, they're losing 17-3, but I just mean it's expected to be more high scoring.
So you would know this, Mike. Will Rutgers have a spread next week at all, you think? They probably will, right?
So FCS games typically don't get a line for FBS teams until the day of.
Gotcha.
So there will be one, but you're not going to have that line out all week like you would at most games.
Okay. I was going to say we could play guess the spread again, but never mind.
Well, somebody has
an Oregon one I saw.
Yeah, the Oregon spread. So what's your early line on Rutgers, Oregon?
That's so
I put the
hard.
over-under at like 65.
100.
The over/under or the spread?
Okay, well, I would hope the spread wouldn't be 65, maybe even
I
70. I'll
I
put
would
the
I would
over-under
hope so
at.
too.
It's
I'll
I'll say the
they're
spread.
insane.
Spread will be like 16.5, I think. At least if they were to play this coming week, that's what I think it would be.
What do you think, Rich?
If it was this week, I think Alex probably close. I would probably go a little bit more just because that offense put up 400 yards at halftime for Oregon. Like, that's insane. And they didn't play like a shitter. Like, they played Oklahoma State, who's supposed to be decent. I shouldn't say good, like decent. They're not that good, but whatever. Either way, it's still a Power 4 school, like that they just put up that many yards. They put up that many points. Like, I would probably say like more closer to like 18 and a half, 19 maybe. Like,
Yeah,
tough.
no, I think it'd probably hover around 3 touchdowns. I think they're just an absolute wagon. They have a great defense as well. They seemingly are just kind of putting whatever number next to their name that they want to so far to start the season.
Insane.
For those of you who have been living under a rock, they won 69-3 today against Oklahoma State. Not Northwestern Oklahoma State, not Oklahoma Community College. Oklahoma State, as in the team in the Big 12, they beat by 66 points in a game that had a spread of 28.5. I want to say it closed at.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of an FU mentality from Dan Lanning, because Mike Gundy earlier this week was like, we shouldn't play teams that have so much more money in NIL because it's not fair. It's like, bro, you were actually actively arguing against your own team being included in the national relevant picture. It's like, okay, if you don't think they should be playing, then you shouldn't be in the CFP then. Don't participate in big boy football if you're going to bitch about teams not, having the same equal resources. It's insane.
I think like he might be cooked right now at Oklahoma State. Like, he's running out of time at this point.
He's had a rough last few years.
Yeah, last year after the season, there was like this big standoff in Stillwater because he had this like essentially perpetual lifetime contract, like a perpetual 5-year deal that they reworked and lowered his salary. If this season continues to go the way it looks like it's going to, he's not going to make it into 2026 for sure. But anyway, this is a long meandering off-road trail we've gone on here.
We got one more guest that's been trying to join in TSAR2, so I'm going to add him real quick. But yeah, we've been going on for a minute.
TSAR, what's going on, man?
Oh, he said he's
gone.
Yep, that was it. Nice to meet you.
And it's gone.
All right, well, we tried here. Anything else in the chat? Anyone see anything?
I see an interesting recruiting note a little bit farther up.
I see a couple. I see this one on Caden Davis. I haven't really followed it that much. Rutgers wasn't really going after him all that much. They have interest in him, but I don't think they were going to offer, to be honest. They have other 27 quarterbacks. There's a kid by the name of Jabin Gonzalez from St. Mary's Prep out in Michigan. Some of you might remember that was Trey McKinney's school, I think, or Acuff. One of the two schools. One of those two guys went there originally before transferring elsewhere. But he will be on campus later in October, I think, for homecoming, I believe it is. And if I'm not sure, so if you want to double check out the round table for him. We have the list of visitors every week, and he's on one of those games. But yeah, that sounds like their top QB target at the moment. What else?
Yeah, that is where Trey McKinney went to school.
See, look at that big brain. Don't use it that often, but once in a while. Any word if we're still looking for defensive linemen in 26 since Branch committed to Penn State? At the moment, no, but like recruiting's weird. They're pretty much done with this cycle. They're going to look into kids still and see what's around. There could be a late flyer around closer to signing day, or you could just have a Whitey Collier, Cannon Marshall, Latrell Noel type situation where you're just adding kids in summertime because you think they're good enough to play now and they want it to reclassify, but you're like, hold on, that kid's got potential. Let's turn him into something ASAP and get him on campus. So at the moment, no names, but recruiting is basically kind of done for the moment. Anything else in here? Who was Shiano yelling at? Oh, I didn't even say this, but like as bad as Shiano was like yelling, like Chuck Martin was giving that ref an earful for like,
He was
and he
giving
didn't stop.
multiple
Like they cut it off
earfuls.
Peacock because they had to go back to the game. And he's still on the sideline and screaming. Like legitimately went from the 10-yard line to the other 40, just following the sideline judge all the way up. And I was like, dude, that's like screaming at someone. And getting yelled at by a guy with a sweater vest is just so embarrassing.
He was honestly lucky he didn't pick up another flag there. The way he kept just going on and on
He's
and
like
on.
throwing the finger in his face. And I'm like, dude, oh my God. Like someone's going to just throw hands. Like this is it.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to be like held back by a couple of his assistants.
It was absolutely insane. But that's all I got. I'm done for the night.
Let's see. Do I have any other takeaways? Yeah, the big plays were not so good, mostly in the defensive backfield. So that needs to continue to be cleaned up. Much better offense went 7 of 10 on third down, which was good. They only punted once. They kicked a field goal. They had that the weird fourth down at the end of the third quarter, and I forget what the other missed third down was. But yeah, much better on third down. They went 0-1 on fourth down. Now, whatever happened with that one attempt, I guess we'll never know because Shiano said he's going to take it to the league office. So who knows? First two, it felt like the second half, the defense, more the back half of the third quarter on, the defense seemed to play a lot better. It seemed like they were getting more pressure. They got close, like that last drive in the first half. They got the Daquan Finn. They got within like a foot of sacking him like 3 different times, and he somehow escaped all 3 times. And again, it's just the consternation. They can't seem to finish these plays. Like they put pressure on Daquan Finn plenty. They just weren't able to finish the plays off. So it's going to be that. Still some eye discipline stuff. I felt like tackling was better today. There were a couple misses here and there, but I think the Shiano adage is if you can get out of a game with 6 missed tackles, which means you allow for 2 from each unit, 2 for the defensive line, 2 for the linebackers, 2 for the DBs, then you're in pretty good position. The call that set off Chuck Martin, the offensive pass interference, I haven't been able to see a replay, but I've had a few people say that was a pretty bad call. So maybe understandably why Martin blew up, especially because that was another big play that they gave up as well that got wiped out by the penalties. So yeah, trying to think of any other takeaways. The run game wasn't as efficient down the stretch in the fourth quarter when they were just trying to time the clock out. It was pretty good. Ethan was very good. He even had a couple of off passes, like, a little bit behind, a little bit ahead, a little bit high here and there, or whatever. The receiver still did a really good job. That's why you have some of those big guys. They have the long catch radius, great hands. So yeah, great game from Strong, Duff as well. Sheffield had a couple drops, but I think he'll be okay. Shiano said the same thing. Yeah, I guess on to Norfolk State. Just got to clean up the big plays. That's the biggest thing, particularly in the defensive backfield. Just got to clean those up. And yeah, also that was Jacoby Henderson that picked up the personal foul that someone was asking about.
Taunting.
Yeah,
I'm still not sure what happened there because I didn't really see.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, what ended up happening was it wasn't even him who made the play. I think Cam Miller made the pass breakup, or it was thrown out of bounds. Like, it was not a good throw. Jacoby Henderson.
Cam Miller made a really good play on the ball in that one.
That's what it was. Jacoby Henderson comes over and he's like flexing, and he goes over and doesn't flex right in the guy's face. He goes and like kind of shoulder bumps the receiver, and the receiver pushes him off, and Jacoby Henderson flopped, was staring right at the ref and was doing like one of these kind of things, and the ref called him for taunting, which it did feel a little ticky-tack, but given that Rutgers got some favorable whistles the whole game, I'm not going to make a stink about it. But it did seem, I don't know, not the biggest, not the worst, taunting penalty I've ever seen.
I got one last thing because I know we're probably about to sign off, but I'm going to go out and say for a fact Rutgers will get more sacks next week. I don't know who their quarterback is because I haven't even looked at Norfolk State, but it's Norfolk State, number 1. And number 2, there's no way that there's another Daquan Finn, Parker Navarro just sitting out there. There's just these guys don't grow on trees. They're just very, very talented. I think they'll get a lot more sacks next week.
As someone in the chat mentioned, they're currently in a dogfight with Virginia State. So
yeah, that's self-explanatory.
Not too good.
All right,
one more.
Well,
I lied. One more thing. FanDuel sponsor. Shout out to them. +310. Kyle Monangai. Anytime touchdown Monday night. Book it.
I do think that's a great bet. That is
This is not
That is a
gambling
bet
advice.
I have already made actually with some
You
bonus
did say
cash.
book it, so I
All right,
a little
fine.
bit of gray area there. Book it
Show-
if you want
I
to book it,
already
then you
made
should
that
book
bet.
it. But if you don't want to, then you don't have to. But you might be missing out.
Mike's flexing the numbers out here.
So I made that bet on the 4th, which was what, Thursday?
Was it still plus 310?
It was plus 300 then, so it's actually gotten better,
Ooh.
even though the situation has only gotten better as well.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say because Roshan Johnson's out and DeAndre
He's
Swift.
Also
I mean,
plus
Ben
310
Johnson
for some
didn't
reason.
really trust DeAndre Swift when he was in Detroit. So
Yep.
All right, hot take. Kyle Monangai, first touchdown. Plus
Ooh, that is
1,600.
spicy. I like that. I like that a
I
lot,
don't know
actually.
if
I will be making that.
I don't know. I don't know if I would take that.
He's playing. He already got cleared today. We're good to go.
Love it. Yeah, they didn't sign any veteran running backs. They've brought in Jamal Williams for a workout, who, for those who don't know, led the NFL his last year in Detroit in touchdowns under Ben Johnson. So if he thought he needed to hire or bring in somebody, I think they probably would have at this point.
True. It's fair.
But
that's all I got. I won't interrupt you again. I'm sorry.
Very good. How many people we got in the live stream right now?
1135 plus Instagram's got another. I don't know. Instagram numbers don't pop up on here for some reason, which is kind of weird. But we are still
let
live.
me check it out because I can probably find it if I join it from myself.
Yeah, just add to the numbers. Instagram's got all of 5 right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate everybody.
There's a lot of comments.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody who's joined and interacted with us. Thanks for everybody who hopped on the live call. We're gonna do that moving forward. If you'd like to join and interact with us, we're gonna keep that line open. I think that went really well today. Just be safe out there. We don't
do it while driving.
any of our friends getting hurt on the road. But thanks to everybody who's listened and followed us and liked us, subscribed to us. Thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring the show. And we will see you guys, if not tomorrow, we'll see you on Monday to go through the film review, talk about what Shiano said at the Norfolk State game week presser.
The Big Ten.
And around the Big Ten. We'll talk about who we were impressed by, who we were not impressed by over the weekend. But for me, Richie, and Alec, this has been another edition of the Night Report podcast. Signing off.